Welcome to Shovelware Diggers. Our dig team's currently excavating the Softkey Shareware 2000 Hit Games 2CD collection. You can find a link in the video description containing the entire directory structure of this archive. Here's what our diggers have for week 144. For more information on how to join the dig team, simply follow the Patreon link in the video description. Now without further ado, let's get started. First up, we have a team dig from ZinfidelZT and Parafine. DOSGAMES /arcade/B Blast 10. For some reason, I'm thinking Arkanoid clone. They got an exe. It's not a very big exe. There's a text file and a readme. A quick type of the readme.first. Whoops, I forgot to include code to confirm the presence of a VGA board. You better make sure you have one before running this program. Okay, so apparently the author of the program, Saad Hanif, or Hanif? Hanif? I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name there, but apparently he didn't check for the presence of VGA, which means if you ran this without VGA, it would probably not work. Let's take a quick look at the text file. Bonny Blast. Okay, so probably not Arkanoid. I, the author, am not responsible for any damage that occurs to you or your system by the use or misuse of this software. This software comes with no guarantees that it will function on your system properly. It has been tested on different platforms and has been proven to work as designed. If you find this game promotes cruelty to little fuzzy animals, then don't play it. Ooh boy. Am I going to have to censor this? I might have to censor this. We'll find out. Games being released as freeware, feel free to use distribute it. And you can also make donations if you want to. Fair enough. Okay, so the evil rabbits from the planet Murica? From the planet Murica. Kind of like America, but not. Have invaded your fields. Even though they look harmless, they pose a great threat. Blow them away before they reach your crops beyond the Golden Hill. I find it funny that we're going to be using weapons to destroy them that probably would destroy the crops in the process. And we can also see it was written using Turbo C++, along with some other stuff there. There's command line parameters, delay settings, so I might have to adjust the cycles when we start this. And apparently the guy's in Canada, so I'm telling you right now that most Canadians don't have a thing against bunnies, but okay, let's see what kind of trouble we're getting into here. Okay, well, here's our starting screen, version 1.0.920902. Okay. Oh, there is mouse control. What? Okay. I can move the mouse. Yeah, the mouse only goes like up to there. Huh. So click to start. Wait, what? Okay, the first problem I'm having with the game here is that sometimes I hit them and sometimes I don't. Yeah, because if they get to the back, they sort of like get away. Yeah, you don't have a lot of time for them before they escape. Although they seem to come at random amounts. Funny thing I'm noticing here is that it's not actually so much... There doesn't seem to be any gore, it's just explosions. It's like we're shooting them with like a bazooka or something. Very weird. At least it doesn't seem like there's gore. I might frame check this during editing just to confirm, but... Also, is there like no score counter or anything? Oh. Well, there it goes. just as I was saying it. So, final stats, hit 72%, kill 66? What? Hang on. So, I was hitting the ones that were escaping. It's just they were escaping because I shot at them too late. It still kind of bugs me that you're only playing in like the quarter of the screen here, and that the other massive amount up top doesn't mean anything. It's just a skyline and trees. They're not even good trees. Okay, so apparently level 2. Well, it's the same as level 1, just more of them, maybe? Although, to be perfectly frank, these bunnies are not very cute. These bunnies are very, disturbing. So yeah, that's literally all there is to this game. It's just shooting the somewhat terrifying but meant to be cute bunnies. That is literally it. You click the mouse, and just do it for as long as it wants you to. Yeah, that actually freeze framed there. You can see this isn't blood. This is like an explosion. So are we shooting like bunny plushies? Like living bunny plushies that are going into the background? We're trying to detonate them or something? I don't know. This game is weird. And also not very engaging. Like, I mean, it's probably a good thing the game's freeware, because, like, I mean, I can't see myself paying money for something like this. But then from what I gathered just from reading the documentation there, this was more like just something to put together, just to sort of test learning how to program or something like that. At least that's the impression I was getting. So, to that end, like, I mean, learning to do graphics in the days of DOS wasn't exactly easy. Especially these kinds of graphics where you end up, well, first of all, it's 256 color. That immediately makes it more difficult. And then on top of that, you've got the transparency going, you've got the mouse controls going. So even though this is an extraordinarily basic game, for somebody who's just learning how to make this kind of stuff, it's actually not that bad. But yeah, I can't, as I said, I can't ever see me paying money for anything like this. This would have to be a much more elaborate game to be worth anything beyond just, you know, learning. Next up from RuneFox is DOSGAMES /PD1/ARG30. I don't have a clue. We're gonna find out. That's a very small executable. Dated 89, so this might be a text mode game given how small that exe file is. Let's go into the doc file though. ARG is a collection of sliding block puzzles. The goal is always to get one block to a particular place. To determine the winning destination, answer Y when you are asked with your 1 instructions. Okay. To play, just type R at the DOS prompt, and you can also set for a monochrome screen. Move the blocks by tapping the letter of the block you want to move. The blocks move horizontally and vertically only. They do not rotate. The block you want to move can move in more than one direction. You'll be prompted to type an arrow key to clarify. Apparently the boss key is Control B. You generally don't want your boss key to be something that takes multiple keystrokes, because then you're liable to screw it up. Boss keys work way better if it's just one button. And apparently it was made by David Howarth or Howarth? Howarth? Yeah, it's probably Howarth. And he's in Brooklyn, New York. And apparently, like a disc that will cause the puzzles to solve themselves. Interesting. So $10 registration just if you want the puzzles to be able to not do the puzzles. I don't know, that's kind of weird. Let's see what we got here. Okie dokie. So choose a game. We've got ARG, BARG, and CARG. And from the looks of it, they're not all the same size. BARG and CARG look to be 6x5, while ARG looks to be 5x4. Well, let's try ARG first. On instructions, yes, the object of the game is simple. Just move block A from its starting position to this position. Okay, so it's one of these types of games. I'm kind of surprised we haven't run into more of these. I don't like the fact that the game doesn't have like markings in terms of the starting and end. Like that's usually the way you would produce a game like this, is have it so that there's clear definition of where the start and the end is. Okay, so let's see here. Move the E block. And the D block, C, H. So this looks like a pretty typical layout for this kind of puzzle. Just judging from what I'm seeing so far. Okay, that's not going to work. Yeah, it's actually been a while since I've done a puzzle like this, so I'm a little rusty. As evidenced by the fact that I'm pretty sure I need to move that H out of the way. I think I've royally messed this up to some degree. But that's okay. Like, I mean, hang on. Actually making a little more progress, I think. One thing that's kind of confusing me is that sometimes you have to push the arrow and sometimes you don't. I think part of the reason why that's confusing me is because, like in this case here, if I push E, it asks me which direction to push it in. But right here, if I push E, it'll just move it automatically. So it's like because my brain wants to constantly switch between pressing a letter and then pressing an arrow immediately afterward, it's kind of messing me up a little. But like, I mean, it's not that it's not working or anything like that. I think I might be making some progress here. Or not. No. I keep thinking like I'm getting there and then I don't. Funny thing is that I've played puzzles like these before. So it's kind of interesting that I'm like really out of practice and just failing completely at this. But yeah, I understand what they're going for here. As it stands, this game works well enough. As you can see from the state of the puzzle, I am failing horribly at it. But I know there's people who like these kinds of puzzles, so if this is your kind of thing, then hey, it comes with how many was it? 3 different puzzles to go for. So there you go. And our last dig for today comes from Brendan of RetroSwim. WINGAMES /strategy/BT. I'm trying to think what a strategy game with the initials BT would be. Maybe like Battle Tanks or something like that. There's a file ID.diz. Brainteaser. What's it doing in the strategy folder? Beginning of a new game is squares on the... Wow. This file hasn't been formatted properly. Also, it's a file ID.diz. Why is it that big? Let's actually just use the help file then. Playing the game. In the beginning of a new game, all the squares on the game board are filled with tiles except for the one in the center. Objective of the game is to remove all the tiles except for one. Remove tiles by jumping over them. Okay, so it's one of those styles of puzzle games. We've seen this kind of stuff before. But hey, the person didn't put a maximize button in and has a single width border. Points for getting that right. And apparently this game was made by an Alan Chico? Alan Chico? Probably something like that. Apparently also has a degree. So what he's doing programming games like this? That's actually a good question. If you're an MD, what are you doing programming games like this? I guess maybe it was something he was doing as a hobby or his spare time or something. Oh, and trying to print the order form crashes it. Which is kind of a problem, because how much does it actually cost to order it? Yeah, it doesn't say what the cost is in here either. Hang on. Hang on. You've got an MD on your name, and yet you don't have the actual price of your game listed anywhere except for an order form that you can't view unless you print it? Really? You go through all this effort and you basically put it in a situation where people can't see what the cost of your game is unless you literally print it out. That's not cool. Well, let's see how it actually plays. It's a click and drag interface. Kind of expecting that. Game over. How could it possibly be game over? But I can still... And it's still letting me even. What? Okay, let's try this again. We'll do some clicking and dragging. But the game's not over. There's like so many more moves I can do here. What? Am I missing a rule here? You remove game tiles by jumping over them. To do this, you must use the mouse click and drag procedure to remove a tile from its square, have it jump over an adjacent square, which is occupied by a tile, and then drop the tile onto a square which is vacant. The act of jumping removes a tile which was jumped over. You may jump in any direction, including vertically, horizontally, or diagonally. When no more legal moves are possible, the computer ends the game and lets you know how you did. You must leave a single tile anywhere on the board in order to be rated a genius. Yeah, I am not playing this wrong. The game is just cutting me off before... Is this even finished? This says version 1.0. Like, so far it seems to be working fine now. Like, why does it say begin game down here? Didn't I begin the game? Like, it's not cutting me off now. And now it says very good. So new game, begin game. Yeah. I'm sorry, but your game, for being something that's called Brainteaser, doesn't seem to be detecting a failure state properly. Okay, so that was Brainteaser. Like, I mean, it functionally works, but it's clearly not finished because it's not detecting failure states properly, which means it's, well, how are you supposed to know how well you're actually doing if it's not figuring, like, it even still lets you, it even still reaches a second failure state. It's like, oh. This game needs more work, or more testing, or both.